I once had a customer come in. It was a trans dude, and he goes, if you need to refer to me, I am he, her. If you're a friend of mine, you can call me his royal bitchness. So I go, all right, man, real quick. In case of emergency, can I call you bitchness for short? He does the gay Terminator scan. He goes, I accept. So I was like, all right, cool.
When do you perceive the prime operating hour of comedians to be?
Right now. Welcome back to the Dust Off the Mic podcast. A dream you want to follow, and my advice to every comedian I've ever met is like find your voice. You have it in you.
Sorry, Mom.
Many a parents have been disappointed on this show. Don't worry about it. Find out who you are.
You gonna see the cocaine?
He's
like, I don't give a fuck.
You were just not ready for something. That's what that was.
I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted, and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time.
Now we're recording. Everybody, welcome back to Dust Off the Mic podcast. I am here with one of the first, in my case, unknown people to my social existence, but I reached out to him online. It is a, somewhat kind of crazy circumstance that we started communicating, because the song that he had kind of drawn me in with was called, what was it called again? It was called Bless the Mic.
But it was Fresh Prince. Bless the Mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bless the Mic. So anyway, this is Naivetheemcee, or Nasty Nye.
Right.
Thanks for coming by, dude. You came
problem,
all the way
man.
from Maryland. It's like a 2-hour and 30-something minute drive.
Really? It went by so
Scoot the
fast.
mic a little bit closer.
Oh,
You're good. Yeah,
literally.
actually, you could just ape that one. This one's a piece of shit.
Oh,
Amazon
there we
wish
go.
list.
There we go.
This whole setup's like $40.
That's not bad.
That's
to be
not.
honest.
If you want to wear the headphones, this we turned it up to $60. Yeah, this is
okay.
from Walmart. Yeah, yeah. If you want to get down with the headphones.
Honestly, the drive wasn't bad, man. It went by so fast. I thought there was gonna be some traffic on there, but it was like a little bit. It was like leaving once I got a little bit out of Maryland into Pennsylvania. There's like traffic, but after that, it was like clear day.
Yeah, Jersey's not bad. Not bad. And you got these little clips right here. I try not to get yourself on a nip. I do that all the time.
How far are you from New York?
If I'm driving, maybe about an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
If you know where you're going and you know which time to go, that's the most important part.
Morning or late
night? Early morning if you want to get through the Lincoln Tunnel. If you're going into like Manhattan or something like that, you got to like hit the Lincoln Tunnel before the sun rises.
That's crazy.
And then if you're leaving New York, you got to be in the tunnel, or at least approaching the tunnel well before 2:30, 3 o'clock, or you're gonna be gridded out. You're gonna be gridded out. So tell me about yourself, dude. What started the dream? What started the path to becoming a rapper? And you said you're also a model too.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I never saw myself being a rapper. Like, never saw myself being a rapper. Never saw myself doing any of that stuff. I was supposed to be like a boxer or a veterinarian because I did my senior project in high school on veterinarian because it was like it's mandatory for you to graduate. So I was like, all right, I like animals, so let me do like a research project. So I went to this veterinarian clinic, and I was like a student there, learning and everything. So music came, like me and my homeboys, we did music in middle school, but I was trash.
Why were you trash? You were trash.
I was trash. Like,
why were you trash?
I just felt like I was trash. Like, compared to them, I felt like they were better rappers. So I was just trash. So I was like, you know what? This is not for me. So I just left it alone. And then it wasn't until I was in high school, my 11th grade year. Well, actually, it was the summer before I go to 11th grade.
Okay.
And this is when, you have Drake, you have Nicki Minaj, you have Kendrick Lamar.
And how old are you?
J. Cole. I'm 29.
29.
Just turned
33. I just turned 33.
Really?
What are you, February?
Yeah.
February what?
February 3rd.
February 22nd.
Dang, you a Pisces.
And my wife's February 26th. 2 Pisces in the house. Yep. Just emotional
Y'all
bitches.
That close to the threshold of Aquarius.
Nah, I don't want to be in Aquarius. I don't want to be in Aquarius. I don't want to know what the difference is. You know what I mean? I don't want to know what the difference between a Pisces or a Pisces with Aquarius tendencies is. I don't want to know.
So I think the difference between us is we have better control. Because you said emotional, so we're emotional too, but we have better control over our emotions. I'll say that.
You say, oh, I think anybody has better control over their emotions than I do. I'm pretty fucking crazy.
Aside from the human analogy,
Okay,
you
fair
know,
enough.
just the horoscope thing. You know,
I'm sorry. My ADD took over the conversation yet again. You were saying
No, it's
29. All right.
So yeah,
My
so
bad.
at that time, when I was in high school, it was like, you know, Lil Wayne, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Minaj, all of them. So you know, Drake had just came out his second album, and
Okay.
Marvin's Room came out, and for some reason, I was listening to it, and I decided to write to it. So I was like, let me find the instrumental. So I couldn't find the official one. So he had like a different version. So I was like, okay, cool. So let me write to this. So I started writing to it, and I wrote to it, and I had some stuff. So I called a couple people, called a couple of my friends, and I was like, yo, I want y'all to hear this. Let me see what y'all think or whatever. So I let them hear it, and they loved it. They was like, what? I didn't know you did music. I was like, I didn't know either. I didn't know either.
I didn't want to tell anybody.
Right. So after that summer, I just started writing. And just kept doing it. But I still didn't take music seriously. Like, it still wasn't a thing of like, I'm gonna do music, I'm gonna be an artist. Like, it wasn't until I graduated high school and like I met up with some new friends, and one, he was a rapper, and we smoked a lot. So
As rappers often do. Yeah.
So when we smoked, you know, when you smoke, you have conversations and stuff like that. So that's when I started getting into Kendrick Lamar really heavy. Like, I listened to his mixtapes, I listened to everything, and I just became inspired. So from my friend to the music, I just started like really writing, taking it, like, you know, writing raps and doing all that stuff. But I was singing though. Like, at that time, Instagram was just doing the 15-second videos. So, you know, you could play that.
Wasn't
So
quite reels yet.
it was right. It wasn't reels yet. That's telling our age right there. But
I just got into social media, man. I'm so
really?
bad at it. Yeah. Yeah, I cold called you, dude.
I was on the threshold of it.
Yours wasn't a social interaction. I cold called you like a sales customer. I was like, I like his shit. I just want to talk to him. Let me just put it, you know, let me just see what's up. And I did that. I actually did this. I didn't do this. I did this.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But yeah, so I was doing singing videos.
Okay.
So I never, they was like, what? It was like, if you rap, why don't you put rap videos up? And I was like, it's only 15 seconds. You can't get that many bars from 15 seconds. So it wasn't until 2014 that it was like, okay, this is serious. Because there's this one girl, her name is Cayenne. She's a rapper from New York City.
Okay.
She went viral because she had like these Instagram videos of rapping. So I was like, okay, cool. So I listened to it. I was like, dang, she's dope. So I was like, if she can do that, then I can do that. So then the first one I did was Flavor in Your Ear, by Craig Mack, the instrumental. So I did that one. I posted that one, didn't get that much traction.
Okay.
Second one I did was Crush on You, Lil Kim, Lil C's. Did that one, got some traction, but I didn't get too much traction. Then I did Get Money, and I named them like part 1, part 2, part 3.
And these are all original things? Or are you doing
all
like
original
Oh,
things?
wow.
Like, I just sat there, wrote to them,
and they can all find this on Instagram right now?
Are they still? No, I took them down. I took them down. I have other ones up now, but those original ones, I took those down. But I did Get Money, and then people liked that one. It was like, oh my God, I love this. So then they saw that it said part 3. So then they went back and they was like, oh, you know, let me go check part 2, part 1. So after that, it just became its own thing. Like, people were messaging me. They was like, hey, your music is dope. I love it. Where is your actual music though? At that time, I didn't have no music out. So I was like, it's coming. But I didn't have no support. So I didn't have a way to the studio. I didn't even know what studio to go to. At that time, the homeboy that I met and we smoked a lot and we did music, we weren't talking at that time. So I didn't know who to hit up to be like, hey, can I go to a studio, or what studio to go to? So a little time passed, and it wasn't until like later 2014 that I started actually going to the studio. And my first song that I ever did was to 10 Crack Commandments by Biggie.
Nice.
But I called it 10 Life Commandments. And then the second one was Suicidal Thoughts, but I called mine Subconscious Thoughts. And after that, like, people loved that, and then it just went from there. So ever since then, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it serious, and I took it serious ever since.
And it's working. You seem like you're picking up a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
I actually seen one of your videos out in the wild. I was scrolling because I follow you, so I was scrolling and I seen one of your strip club
Yeah.
promos,
Yeah.
and I just see a titty. I was like, oh, I gotta stop. And I didn't even realize it was your video. I was like, oh, where's a titty in here? Sorry, honey.
I'm surprised that Instagram still kept that up
Yeah.
because I was opening up for Asian Doll. She was performing at a strip club in my city, and I didn't know the cameraman had caught that, like her titty in the video.
He caught all the titty.
And I was like, dang,
Every
this
bit
is a
of
really
that
good
titty.
video.
Hopefully, I'm sorry. Hopefully, I'm not the reason that shit gets flagged. But
Right? Nah, it's not gonna get flagged.
There's a titty in there, in case anybody's curious.
Which was a good performance. Asian Doll.
Yeah, it sounded. Who does your beats, by the way?
I find them. Like I go to YouTube and I search really hard. Like it takes hours for me to find beats because, you have so many people that claim they're producers and I listen to their music and it's trash. And so it takes a while for me to find ones that really speak to me. But those beats I found, I found that one through Ace Beats. His name is Ace Beats. He's actually produced for a couple of rappers that are well known, like Moneybagg. So that was pretty dope. That song, actually, that video didn't get a lot of views when I actually came across that beat because I think it was like really different. It wasn't because he usually do trap beats, so this beat was a little different. So I was like, you know what? Let me take this one. Let me see what I can do with it. And I was like, it took me a minute, and I was like, I got to come up with something fun, something creative, something different. And then that's when it was like, these niggas snake and they trying to bring me hard. So I was like, all right, bet, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay. Fair enough. And you freestyle too, right?
Nah,
not as much.
Freestyle. I suck at freestyle.
Okay. That's cool, man.
But what I do is I can write a rap in like 30 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes, like so fast.
That's not bad.
So yeah, and honestly, when I do those bars, part 1, part 2, part 3, it actually helps me like be creative very fast. So I'm actually glad that I started doing those things because like somebody was like, hey, write this for me real quick. I was like, all right, give me like 10, 15 minutes. As long as I can as long as the beat speaks to me, give me like 10, 15 minutes. I'll bring it back.
I might have to send you some stuff from my buddy Simply Savage.
Okay.
Because if you go back, about a month or two, there's a few of my videos and a lot of his beats are on my clip ups.
Got you.
He's got some skills, man.
I'll have to check him out.
He's worked over a couple of like Meek Mill's remixes. Not
really.
He hasn't worked with Meek Mill's, but he's done stuff
Got you.
Like he remixes them up, and then he's I can't remember his artist name for the life of me. Noetic. He worked with a dude named Noetic.
Okay.
I'm sure he's still out there in the ether somewhere, but there's his beats are all over the place in my videos.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. If I could just ask him, I could probably just send you something. You just shoot me back, see what you got.
And you can just
or
you can send it to me and I'll
make it happen. See,
we're
making art already.
Though I'm very honest with my. See, I be nervous to work with people because I'm very honest. So it's like if I don't like something, I'm like, I don't like that. But a lot of people will take offense, or so I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but at the same time, like you want me to be honest, I'll be honest.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you can't hurt my feelings. I have no feelings left to hurt.
Right. Well, that's not good.
No, I'm just fucking. It's a sales joke, but no. What is it? It's like I had a buddy of mine had a comedy bit says, "Of course, I love people way different than me. I hate myself. Like, so why would I want to be around people like myself?" So yeah, no, I could probably get you some beats over it. I don't know, what do you like? You said you like the trap beats, like
Ace Beats does majority trap beats.
Okay.
So when I go through his beats, I finally found one that was different from his norm. Honestly, I'm open to everything. Like right now I'm working on like even with this project I'm trying to finish up. I shifted the direction of what I'm gonna do with it. So and I think me doing that is opening up my talent even more because I was so focused on being like Naivetheemcee and focused on, making sure I'm a really good rapper. And I feel like in doing so, you ever watch Bleach?
Yeah.
So you remember Zenpachi?
Vaguely, yeah. I didn't get into Bleach too much, but
beads on his
yes.
Okay,
I remember beads.
Long story short, he's very powerful.
Okay.
But when he was a kid, he came across this did you get into Bleach or did you not get it?
But I know of it. Like I've seen a few of them through friends, but like I know of it.
Okay, so if you ever
like if you want to go down the Dragon Ball Z rabbit hole, if you want to go down like the Rurouni Kenshin and I can get down all that.
So long story
I didn't
short,
get too into
with this one,
sorry.
When he was young, he had immense power.
Mm-hmm.
Then he battled his captain, and then he saw that he was about to kill her because she was looking for a formidable opponent. but he was more powerful than her. So once he saw that he was more powerful than her, he's a very bloodthirsty type, in his genes. So he enjoyed fighting. But once he saw that he overpowered her, he didn't want to kill her, so he limited his power. So as he got older to enjoy fights, he subconsciously limited his powers to where he became weaker than what he really is. So for me, I feel like me focusing on rapping and trying to be like one of the best MCs, it limited me as far as my talent, as far as an artist. So I finally decided to go a different direction with my music and focus more on the artist than the rapper, like just the rapper. So that's why it's taking me a minute to finish this project, because I'm like, I want to scrap these songs.
You're
but I'm
picky.
like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
You're picky.
Yeah,
bro. I could show you. My joke book probably looks like the writings of a crazy lunatic. Man.
Yeah.
It's just like half of it's erased, and then I put a note in, like, add partially racist joke here,
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like it's how you know I think you're doing it right. Is
Right.
when you're so self-critical of it that you just want it to be great for you.
Exactly.
If you love it 100%, it almost doesn't matter if anybody else likes it.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
but it's important for them to love it, because I need them to love it to be
Validated. Yeah. That's kind of the
That's
good
the
thing.
tricky part.
Yeah, it's kind of the good thing about stand-up comedy. It's the attention that I crave, for sure.
See,
Yeah.
I'm the
That
same
instant,
way.
that laugh, that's like, see, that was funny.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? See, that was funny. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't hide that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you said you were a model as well, and you are a model as well.
Well,
Or you've dabbled in modeling.
I've dabbled into it.
Okay.
So I have to actually get back into it, because I didn't start modeling until so I got out of the military, and
Thank you for your service.
thank you. I moved to Maryland, and before I moved there, I had already came across this designer. He hit me up on Instagram. I knew him through a mutual friend, and he really like dig my style. So he was like, I feel like you should model, man. I was like, but he was like, just come on out, just come out to the casting, just see how you do, and we'll go from there. So he was linked to this modeling agency that I knew nothing about, because again, I'm not from DC. So I was like, okay, let me just come out here and see what's up.
Sure.
So I came out there, I was in the casting, and I was there with other models that actually have experience, but they all looked at me like, you look like a model. So I was like, okay,
Cool.
let's go with that.
No one has ever said that to me.
Right. I was like, let's go with
Must be
that.
nice.
So went with that. I did the casting, they liked it, and he booked me. So ever since then, I was going to start modeling. I actually signed with that agency, and I was booked for a couple of gigs, and then COVID hit. And once COVID hit, everything shut down. Like, anything that requires you to be in people's faces shut down. I was so upset, because I had just did a fashion show. I had just did another shoot. I was about to do this paid gig with this skincare line, because that was going to go somewhere. And then also I was going to perform. I had just did an audition for a modeling for a runway, but COVID shut everything down. So after that, I just focused on school, worked full time, and now I'm finally getting back into modeling again, but I got to lose weight. So, but the agency, the funny part about it is the agency didn't say anything about my weight. They liked what they saw, but me, I'm just very subconscious about getting back to being the skinny me that I used to be, because, I'll call it COVID weight.
Yeah, my wife was pregnant during COVID, so we were trapped inside eating like pregnant people. So I understand COVID weight.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And I think it's dangerous having a baby, so kudos to y'all having a child in COVID, because
that shit was wild, man. That shit was wild. Oh man, everything they were telling you is like, oh, if you don't do this, baby could die. Like, if you don't, what the fuck, man? Like, this is supposed to be a happy time, and like they almost didn't let me in the delivery room. Yeah, I pulled an old Louis C.K. line on him. I said, either I'm getting back there, or we're both going to be on the news tomorrow. Only you can make that decision, and because that's what's going to happen.
Hospitals with publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, and they wound up being a little bit cooler about it, so
okay,
it was all good. And then Eevee's 3 now.
You say Eevee?
Eevee, yeah, like the Pokemon.
See,
not spelled like that.
I didn't want to say that, but I was like,
you didn't have to, dude. Yeah, I don't know if you've looked around this fucking studio.
I see it, bro. I see.
If you've ever Kamehameha'd one of your teachers, you are probably qualified to be a friend of mine.
So I enjoyed Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
Oh, dude, that was the best
Wii.
one. That was
not
on the
Wii.
Wii.
3 on the Wii. That was the best one.
I never had a Wii.
Because you could reenact the Big Bang and the Kamehameha.
Oh, dude, but you could do that on the Xbox and the PS.
No,
And
wasn't the
what was
same.
it? PS3.
It wasn't the same.
What do you mean it wasn't the same?
It wasn't the same.
We're
It wasn't the same. You actually had to do.
And this is how the
motion.
naive MC and the dust off the mic beef started over a fucking.
You actually had to do the motion to activate.
Yeah.
That
I
shit
got
was so
you.
dope.
There was though, dude. That
was
was
so dope.
probably, and then the way they 3D'd the map,
Yes! Oh
and you
my
could
God.
actually like get
So
in there.
They're bringing that back. They're bringing that back.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh my
PlayStation 5.
fucking god.
It's called Rage and Blast.
Oh
So
my god, I can't afford the amount of time it requires to enjoy video games anymore, man.
I mean, you know what? I take it back. So my mom actually just bought me a PlayStation 5 for my birthday.
Let's
when it
go.
just passed.
Let's go.
So, because I wasn't gonna get it till May because I had to focus on school, but since she got it, I was like, fuck it. So, Tekken 8, you know, I'm very
I love
old school.
Tekken.
Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto,
Mm-hmm.
all those fighting games, I'm a fanatic for. So they brought Tekken back, they brought Street Fighter back, they brought Mortal Kombat back. So I got Mortal Kombat and Tekken, and I've been playing Tekken 8 so fucking much. It's ridiculous.
I hear they made King the cheese character. Like you just get him in an infinite loop of grapples.
Yeah, they always did. They always did that.
Yeah, I feel like
That
that has always been the case, but like I've seen, because I subscribe to a lot of like gamers on YouTube and stuff like that. So like I'll see shorts of people playing fighting games, and it just seems like every time I see somebody with King, nobody even throws a punch. They just get dicked on.
I will say it's difficult to do those grapples though. So like some of those grapples, if they're doing it continuously, you actually have to be putting in like holds constantly. And I've tried it, and with a PlayStation joystick, it is not working. But I guess with the CPU guys, they're able to like hit that shit. But that shit be like. So now I'm actually figuring out when I see like commands on these games that they're actually referring to the CPUs instead of the actual PlayStation joystick. So I'm like, how the fuck do they think my fingers are going to go over here and over here at the same time? And yeah, it's some bullshit.
I don't know how you play a fighting game on PC. That's wild to me.
They literally
like that would not compute. Literally, it wouldn't compute. Like that's a gaming PC, and I mean I could play shooters, but like trying to fight, that would bug me out.
So they get them big little square joysticks.
Oh.
So you have like literally it looks like a rocket that you're trying to command. Like it got multiple buttons on it.
Yeah, like a driver's seat.
Yeah.
Oh, like you're almost at an arcade.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty much. So
I usually just plug my Xbox Elite controller.
I don't know why people like the CPU so much. I'm PlayStation all the way through. Like that's the only.
I have more processing power than most PlayStations, and I probably will have more processing power for the next 2 PlayStations.
Right.
So yeah, I don't need to upgrade every few years. I mean, I think PlayStation held off for a while, didn't they? They held off before they upgraded.
They did.
I feel like Xbox is just making up fucking names for their systems at this point.
I think they're just trying to compete with PlayStation because
Xbox 570 times 2.
But they shit is trash though. Like when they had the Xbox 360, it was like you can't leave your disc in there for too long because you'll get a white ring around it.
Now I haven't had a disc video game in probably 5-6 years.
Well, I have a digital PlayStation, so I don't even.
Yeah, same with the Xbox and same with the computer. It's all downloaded. It's all from Steam and all that stuff.
I actually like it like that though, because I don't have to worry about keeping up with CDs. I can just
log fucks your storage.
PlayStation and have my shit right there. So
just fucks your storage.
Yep.
So all right, what did you said you're in school now, or you're focusing on school? What are you going to school for?
I'm in school for accounting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny. My best friend growing up is an accountant too, and he is also a rapper. Yeah, check him out on YouTube, Ant Mugga.
Okay.
He's awesome, man. I've known him since we were like 3-4 years old.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, man. And I'm 33, so it's almost 30 years, give or take.
So I remember seeing a lot of artists get scammed out of their money.
Really?
Like Rihanna got scammed. Well, not scammed, but her accountant took like $10 million from her. She got it back, but it took a while for her to get it back. But at the same time, it's the fact that she didn't have the knowledge to make sure that she never lost it in the first place. So I always kept that in mind, and I always love numbers anyway. I love money. And I was like, and I wanted education. I feel like education is very important, especially being African American. I'm like, education is very important. So I was like, no, I'm gonna go to school for accounting.
Nice.
And
yeah, I think Dane Cook's brother like dicked him out of millions too. Yep. Just because he's like, I'm just here, take it. I trust you.
Yep. Steve Harvey, he owed like
Steve Harvey too. Yeah.
Or $2 million in IRS back taxes because he just kept giving his money. Then check to see where it was going.
You know what's so fucked up that you need to go to school in order to understand how the finances work. Like it should be. I feel like it should be simpler.
Now you have financial literacy.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have like LLCs and you're gonna have, well, not even LLCs, but if you're gonna try to run corporations like Rihanna with Fenty Beauty, or Jay-Z with Rock Nation, if you're gonna do that type of shit, yeah, you gotta go to accountant. Because if you don't know anything, you're gonna get screwed.
I don't plan on making any money for a long time, as you can see from the garage studio setup, and I still have an accountant.
Hey, you never know, man.
She said, if anything shady pops up in your mail, just take a picture of it and send it to me. And I'm like, that is exactly what I want to hear. That is exactly the kind of shit I need. If I can just find 2 more humans like that for my social media and another for my editing, I can just focus on content creation and my comedy and writing jokes and getting out there.
But things can go a long way. With me and my career take off, and they say that we did an interview, and be like, oh my God, let's go here.
Oh shit!
I'm like, yeah, y'all go get an interview there,
and then vice versa. Yo, you were in Dust Off the Mic studio when it was legitimately in his fucking garage.
But it's crazy. Those are the things that I think about.
Yeah, same.
When I come across fellow people that are on the come up instead of already established. Because when you hit me up, and I could have been like, man, I'm not going over here. I don't have no traction. But I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, you never know. And it's not even a thing of you never know, so I can be associated with someone that blows up, but it's a genuine connection of like, yeah, in my story, this is where I was at.
Yeah. And
we met each other here. So when we see each other at the time, like, hey man, like, how do y'all know each other? Like, this is why we know each other.
He was creepy as fuck and slid into my DMs for an interview. It's like some fucking comedian from the Boondocks in New Jersey.
And mind you, at that time, people gonna have to pay me to get interviewed. But if you say, an exclusive, I'm like, yeah, man, I'll
Dust Off the Mic exclusive, Naivetheemcee coming at you. Yeah, my whole thing is this: like, I can see that this is something that you're doing. Like, nobody who doesn't love what they're doing does a show in a strip club,
right?
You know what I mean? No one who doesn't love their comedy does a set in a pizza place.
Exactly.
Nobody who takes this shit half-assed puts themselves out there, and like there's some serious editing on your stuff. Like there's some serious, I mean, it's the beats are fire. And
thank you.
For what it's worth, whether somebody likes it or not, like you are doing what you got to do to put yourself out there.
Right.
And a couple of minutes, like just a bless the mic. I was like, oh shit, the mic. I'm Dust Off the Mic. Little things like that. Like, why not? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with coming to and knowing somebody,
right,
and learning some new skills and some new connections. Now I got a guy in Maryland. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I got a rapper in Maryland if you need it. Hey, if you're ever needing a show,
I'm just very big on that, man. Like I'm very big on one, building
dude.
Like real relationships with people.
Yeah,
and then 2, like quality work. Like my videographer, he's my best friend. He became my best friend. That's the crazy part. He became my best friend over us working with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always respected his work. I've always, charge me full price. Never a thing of, let me. I like, hey man, because he asked me one time, he's like, "Am my prices too high?" I was like, "Nah, I can't tell you as an artist what you should
exactly.
Price your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
However, the price that you are aiming for, I'm not gonna be able to work with you until I get my money up, but
exactly.
But I'll be back." And every time I got my money up, I came back to him and we made quality work. Like, goddamn, that music video took 11 hours.
For real?
Yes, it took 11 hours. Goddamn.
Oh.
It took 11 hours.
Hold on. I want to see this 11-hour video. Hold on, let's go over to creep mode. Boop. Bam. Here you are. Which one?
Go down. That one right there with the red pants.
This one?
Yeah, it's not the whole video.
So I had to pipe her. Stole a nigga bitch, cause Naive had to swipe her. I'm auto nigga, so I keep it pretty. Rep that 2-6, so never am I sedity. Too much to rap, but on these tracks I keep it gritty. Everybody pop up, cause I'm the hottest in the city. Everybody straight clowns, but Naive pipe her.
That shit is dope.
That entire video took 11 hours.
Bro, it looks like a legit ass music video. It looks like I just turned on MTV.
Thank you.
It looks like I just turned on MTV.
Now that's an honor right there.
That's for real though. And it looks like a modeling studio. You got that shit on there.
Yes, thank you.
Yo, throw some fucking, ex-military in there and some accounting. Fuck, dude. Throw all yourself in there.
So
some camo calculators.
Right. So the entire idea was his. So I wasn't even gonna do a music video to that song. Because we had just did a music video to my other song, Love Is a Scam.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I really love that song. I mean, I love it, goddamn, but I really love Love Is a Scam song, and I really love the music video to that. I thought of that concept, but the concept for goddamn, he was like, hey, bro, let me because what he does is, and he's very like true to being a videographer. He's very true to loving music. So he will listen to your song as a videographer, and then he'll come up with ideas. So you could go to him and you can have your ideas, and he's going to respect them. He's going to listen to them. But he's also going to ask, like, hey, is it okay if I, like, mention my ideas and this is what I want to do? And I told him, I was like, man, I have no idea for that song. So I was like, if you want to do it, go for it. So what he did was he literally took, and my thing was, I was like, bro, you're doing too much. Because he took lines, like he took bars. And he was like, I want to put a scene to this bar, a scene to that bar. I was like, bro, if you do that, we're going to be here forever. I was
He's
like,
an artist, man.
Right?
He's an artist. Yeah.
But he literally took scenes from bars and made them scenes. And I was amazed. I was like, okay, So we booked the studio, we booked everything, and we was there from, what time did we get there? Got there like 9:00, and we was there till 9. And I actually had to pay for an extra hour because we ran over because we wanted to make sure we get quality stuff. He was like, we can stop right now and we have all the scenes, but he was like, I really want to make sure that we get everything. Like I really want these last scenes to be authentic and quality. So he was like, we did them, but he was like, I want to do a couple more just to make sure. I was like, all right, bro. So we just stayed an extra hour and got everything there. And literally, if you walk in the studio, it's like scene. And he built all that. He came up with all that stuff himself. He went and checked out the studio. He did all that stuff. He just sent me the stuff so I can pay for it. But he was like, hey, bro, this is what we're doing. This is what it is. I was like, all right, bro, I trust you. Like, I trusted him, and it never failed. And everybody saw that video, and they was like, I know you paid money for that video.
Yeah, it looks like you did. I would
did.
say that.
I actually paid.
That is not an Amazon wish list video right there.
I paid $2,500 or
okay,
$2,500, a little bit.
I'd say it was worth
range.
it.
It was.
I'd say it was worth
I
it.
never. Every time I paid him, I was like, it's worth it. Like, sometimes I was like, God damn, it's a lot of money coming out of my account. But I was like, this is why I moved here. This is why I came up with the plan I come up with, and this is why I make as much as I make for these things. Because sometimes I'll be ready to, I'm good, bro. I'm just going. But I was like, scared money doesn't make any money. I've heard that a long time ago. I forgot what movie that was. But that has always stayed in my mind, even as an 8-year-old. So I just gave it to him. I trusted him, and ever since then, like, it really brought attention to people. And a lot of, if you didn't take me serious as an artist, then people started really taking me serious as an artist.
Yeah, dude, that's a pretty sweet ass video.
Now, thank you so much.
It's professional ass shit. What did you do for the military?
So I was a dental corpsman in the military. I was actually supposed to be a sub IT first.
Okay.
But I passed sub school, failed IT school. Like, it was night school. It was from 8 p.m. to like 2 a.m. And then you have to wake up at 6 or 7 to go exercise.
Right.
And then you have to do something else military wise. And then we barely got time to study. But my thing about it is, it wasn't even that. If I really wanted to take the military seriously, I could have easily did that. Right. But it was the fact that I was more focused on music because I joined the military to leave. So I was really, instead of doing my work, I was writing music. My homeboys that I met there, that I'm still close with them to this day, they're my brothers. They would come in my room and be like, hey, man, let's go. And I was stationed in Connecticut. That was the funny part. But they were like, hey, man, let's go to New York. Let's go hang out this weekend. Let's go do this. I was like, nah, bro, I got to write music. Like, every single time they come to my room and ask me, I'm like, nah, man, I got to write music.
I hear you, man.
So I went out with them a couple times, because I can't keep telling my friends no. But majority of the time, I was like, nah, bro.
They'd probably be worried if all you ever did was just write music.
Yeah.
If all you ever did, just work the music. I mean, listen, that's the hustle right there, man.
Yeah. So I had failed IT school. But I told myself, I'm a very spiritual guy. So I was like, God, if I fail, because, a lot of people failed on purpose because they wanted a different job. But the thing about it is, it's very tricky because they could either give you another job that you have to go learn about. It gives you more time to go to A school, C school, whatever. But you can also go in DES. And on DES is when you go to a ship and you just paint the ship until you move up in rank, and then they give you another job. Not my thing.
Right.
So I told myself, I was like, I'm going to genuinely try to pass this shit. But my heart just wasn't there. My mind and heart wasn't there. So I told myself, I was like, God, well, not myself, but I told God, I was like, hey, I'm really going to try this test. if I fail, that just means it's not for me. So I failed. I didn't fail too bad. I got like a 68.
Yeah.
But that was like the third time I failed. So
But
it
that
was
was your
like,
sign, man. That was your sign to keep going.
yeah. So I did that, and then my chief came to me. So chief is like your supervisor, technically, in the civilian world. He came to me. He's like, "Hey, man, like that was your third time failing, so we gotta talk about that." And I was like, "Okay." So he pulled me to the room, and at that time I was going through a lot anyway. So I had just left where I was from, so I had a lot going on. So it was like I'm trying to go for my dreams. I'm stuck here doing something I really don't want to do, and I got that shit going on back home that I'm not there to deal with. So it was a lot. So he asked me, he was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a lot going on." And I tried. I was like, "Chief, I tried." And he was like, "I know." He was like, "Unlike the other ones," he was like, "You actually tried." So he made sure that I was able to choose a job and not just go undes. So he actually vouched for me. So after he did that, it was funny because the story I'm about to tell was the deciding factor of like, am I really going to be an artist or not? So as I'm sitting here, and when you fail and they got to give you another job, it takes time because, every billet that you have, that when you go to get stationed here, you get stationed there, that's money. So Uncle Sam has to, conjure up the money for you. Every individual that's getting stationed somewhere, that there's money in that.
Yeah. They got to find the allocation.
They have to find an allocation for that. So as I'm waiting for them to do that, an opportunity came up. I was on YouTube, and I was watching a lot of artist interviews on Breakfast Club, on Hot 97, on Here, There, and the Third, just to get their insight on like how was their journey when they was coming up, and how was they doing, what did they do, what did they didn't do. And I came across Chris Gotti,
Okay.
Irv Gotti's brother.
Okay.
And it said new adventure or adventure artist or some shit like that. I forgot the name of it. No disrespect to him, because I just said some shit like that. But I forgot the name verbatim. But it was about him developing a new artist like venture.
Okay.
So he wanted to develop upcoming artists. So I watched the interview, and I was like, okay. And he was like, I got a show coming up real soon. And he was like, if you go to my website, you will find the link in the bio. I was like, okay, cool. So I went to his website, I found it, and to perform, it was $300. But I told myself, I was like, well, of course I had it because I didn't have no bills. But I mean, aside from the stuff that I was taking care of back home, but I just had a cell phone bill. Like living in Connecticut, I just had a cell phone bill because the military take care of everything else. So I told myself, I was like, if you really want to do this, you're gonna go. Mind you, it was in New York City. I didn't have a car, and I was still technically under the Uncle Sam. So I can't leave the base for a certain amount of time. Or if I do leave the base, you cannot leave the area.
Right. Not supposed to go too far.
You're not supposed to go too far.
Right.
So New York City was definitely too far.
Yeah, that sounds far.
So I'm thankful for the people that I met there, because I never thought that I'd meet my brother. I never thought I'd meet people I was so close with. I call my brothers there, but I did. So one of the dudes' his name was Jordan. I am so thankful to him to this day. Like when I make it big and I get my awards, I'm gonna always thank him. Even if he's not there, I'm gonna always thank him. He don't even know I'm gonna cut him like a big check, because I told myself, I was like, if I go here and I perform, that means that this is for me. But I didn't have a car, and it was on a weekday. And it was like at night. So I was like, how the fuck am I going to get there? And how the fuck am I going to get back on time and, not get in trouble for it? So I went to Jordan, and I was like, hey, bro, like, there's an opportunity for me in New York City for me to perform. I really feel like this is big for me. This would be my first performance ever. And I told him, I was like, I know this is like really risky because you got class the next day. And we could like literally get in trouble for this. This is UA and all this other shit. And I was like, I know, bro, but I feel like this is my calling. So for real, the thing about it is, and he looked at me, he was like, Stacks, because my last name is Stackhouse. So he said, Stacks, I really believe in you, and I'm gonna take you. So he really risked it. I was like, I'll pay for the gas. I'll pay for the food. I'll pay for everything.
Sponsored
just get me
the
there,
whole
bro.
damn trip.
The whole
damn trip.
The
That's
whole
awesome.
trip. To and back.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's a real one.
He was like, okay. So, but he knew he was risking, like, we could really have gotten captain's mask, got sent home, got kicked out, everything. And he risked it, and he said, I believe in you, man, and you're dope. You're a dope artist, and I believe in you, so I'm going to take you. And he took me. He took me, and I got there. I performed. Mind you, I performed with an instrumental. I didn't even perform with a song. Like, I had no recordings, no official recorded songs. It was all songs, all instrumentals that I wrote to in my dorm room, and I performed them by remembering the lyrics. I didn't even have like a backtrack or nothing.
Wow.
So I was
in front of how many people?
It was in front of a lot of people, actually. It was in front of, because, you know, it was a lot of artists that came, and they brought their people from New York City.
I sure understand that.
And it was also in front of Chris Gotti. It was also in front of Bones Bagante, which is one of the well-known battle rappers in New York City, from Philly, that I love to this day.
Okay.
It was also in front of Tiffany, this one comedian that used to hang out with K. Michelle. She was on Love and Hip Hop. Paris. I'm sorry. Her name is Paris. It was her. She was there. They had record executives from I think it was Def Jam, or it was either Def Jam or Atlantic Records, because, you know, all of them are up there in New York City.
Okay.
So I had to perform in front of all of them. No backtrack, no nothing, just instrumental. And remember, I had to make sure I remember all them lyrics, and I actually was rapping and singing. So I did that, and I didn't win, of course, but they respected it. They was like, actually, I like the music. They just felt like it wasn't. It was like, you actually need to record, 1, 2. You need to sound more, more polished. But you weren't bad.
But you popped your cherry.
Good. Yeah, pretty much.
And that's a pretty intense crowd for the first shot.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Yeah, but the deciding factor, really, honestly, in that was, before I went on, I had got a phone call from my brother, because honestly, I was actually thinking about getting out of the military. I had just called my mom, and I said, you know, I'm getting out. Like, this is not working. I want to come home, because this is just a lot on me. And she was like, okay, I respect it, because I had just lost my sister like 3 months prior, and she had a child, my nephew, a week before she passed away. So I had just left him, and mind you, I was raising him. Like, I was taking care of him with my mom. Like, me and my mom was doing it back to back. Like, I was working at Hardee's, and when I'm at Hardee's, she's there with him. When she's at work, I'm there, and she worked nights, so I was there by myself with him. Mind you, I was like 19. I didn't know shit to do with a newborn. I didn't know shit to do, but I did it, and I became attached. So, you know, it was like, you know, how I see it is, all my siblings, all their children are my children. But I didn't know that I'd be taking care of. I didn't know that I'd be losing my sister, that I'd be taking care of her child, like, without her there. So I had to leave 3 months after he was born, 3 months, all of that stuff. So I had to leave to go to the military, because I had already signed the contract prior to her passing. So while I was there, it was just a lot, because I had separation anxiety. Like, I was away from him, and I was like, you know, I'm missing a lot. I'm missing out on him growing up. I'm missing out on this, and this is just too much. And then, so I called her, and I told her that, and then that's when that opportunity for Chris Gotti came up. So when I was there, my brother called me, because he's in the military. Of course, he's trying to convince me to stay in. When he called me, he was trying to talk to me. I was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna call you back, because I'm about to go perform. The energy that came over me in saying those words was like, this is for me. This is what I see for myself. This is what I see for my life.
Saying I'm about to perform.
Saying I'm about to perform. Saying I'm gonna call you back. I'm about to go perform. That is what I wanted for my life, and that was the deciding factor of, yes, music is really what I want to do, and I've been doing it ever since.
It's like you unintentionally put it out into the universe, and now it's a thing.
Now it's a thing.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. It's really cool. This is like a lot of continuously crazy circumstances to lead us to this moment.
Yes.
If you really think about it, like, I don't know how much of my show you've watched or how many stories of mine you've heard, but for all of that to happen, and then for all of your story to happen, for our paths to converge, that's fucking awesome. It really is. I was telling my buddy the other day, like, I feel like life is just one big ass video game.
It is.
You know what I mean? And then like, so you're on the music skill tree.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm honing my speech craft.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or my charisma for the Bethesda fans out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it really just comes down to, which type of game do you want to play?
Exactly.
You can customize your character. You can find out which NPCs you don't even want to bother with, you know. I married Lydia. If you've ever played Skyrim, my wife Brittany,
I've never
she's
played that.
oh dude, I pretty much married Lydia, the Lydia character. So if you've never played Skyrim, there's an opportunity for you to get your own pretty much bodyguard from one of the first towns,
Okay.
and it's a huge, tall, brown-haired woman named Lydia, and she just you can arm her to the fucking teeth,
Right.
and then eventually you can marry her, and then she starts like a store in the town, but you could still have her come with you. That's my Lydia.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just some
Got you.
tall ass woman ready to beat the fuck out of a dragon for
Right.
me. It's awesome, man. It's so cool.
Mhm.
How's your love life?
My love life is non-existent.
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 Okay.
But you know, I would love a wife and kids,
Okay.
but
It's a lot of work.
I'm not ready for that right now.
Dude, take your
And,
goddamn time.
A lot of my bros all have kids. Some are married, some are not, but it's crazy. It's so crazy because some of them I've known them like how you know your friend for 30 years.
Mhm.
I've known one for 20, one for 19, one for 15, one
Yeah.
for, you know what I'm saying? So to see them now and we are all like grown and they have kids and some of us are still pursuing music and it's just crazy, man. It's one of those things where it's like you know you're getting older as a kid, but it's crazy when you're actually in it. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that you saw growing up, you reflect on it and you're like, damn, now I understand why people felt the way they felt or why they were so upset.
Different
and
now.
It is.
It's so different now. I'm actually like legitimately concerned for my kids and for the future, man. Like I think like everybody's just so hostile. It's so much anger for nothing. You know what? But I'll say this: they're gonna know that their father was passionate.
Right.
They're gonna know. First of all, my kids are just like me. They will say whatever the fuck's on their brain.
Right.
Zero filter. My 11-year-old is literally all passion and zero facts. And my 3-year-old's got my attitude, and she's got those fuck you moments. She's like, ah.
So you have
She'll
all
just scream
girls?
matches. Yeah, I have 2 girls.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded, bro. Even the cat and the dog are fucking female.
Wow.
This is not what I meant when I prayed to God as a teenager that I'd be surrounded by bitches. This is not what I'd had in mind, but here we are. We
Right,
are
here you are.
And I love my family, man. I love them to death. There is no buts about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would just like to always give them the best version of myself.
Right.
And I feel like you're doing the right thing for that. Like your kids, when inevitably when they come about,
Right.
will always know their father to have been somebody who followed his passion.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's dad singing at the strip club.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, is that a titty? It's like
once they get a certain age, they can look at it.
Yeah. I told you I fuck with people on this
Right.
thing. Man.
But yeah, man. I mean, I think about it, and I'm like, I don't want to have kids right now because I don't want to resent them. I don't want to not be attentive. I don't want to have to choose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I feel like my dreams I'm very passionate about my dreams, but I don't want to be that dad that, you know, they come to me and they're like, Dad, I want to do music, or I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'd be like, well, you know, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is negativity or doubt or, you know, something
Here's
like
how
that.
hard it is.
Exactly.
Here's how hard it's going to be.
Instead of just go for it. And whatever trials and tribulations they're going to come across, we'll cross it when you get there. But I'm not even going to bring that to your attention. I'm going to let you explore that. And I'm just going to be the dad that's going to be there because, as you can see, I did it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now. And it's just like I'm working on myself, just mentally, physically, spiritually. And I just want to be a good husband. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be a husband that's there, that's attentive, that's, you know, just that caters to my family, you know. And until I feel like I'm fully there, I'm not dating, I'm not doing any of that stuff because it's pointless right now. It's like we can go on a date, but that's all we're going to be doing is dating.
But you know, you're focusing on you.
Exactly.
And you said something that I actually really appreciate hearing from another human being. You said you don't want to resent your kids.
Right.
You know, a lot of people just have kids because they think they're supposed to, or like you think we're owed a copy of you on this world. I had my kids because my wife and I decided, you know, this is what we want.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, we had the means to house them, keep them healthy and fed and loved,
right,
and taken care of. And if we didn't have any of that, we probably would resent them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I had kids before I started pursuing a little bit further into this. Like I've been doing stand-up since I was 17.
Right.
So I'd always been, you know, that guy that wasn't afraid to go up in front of 50 to 100 people and
Right.
make them laugh. But I feel like they're gonna know. They're gonna know their dad was passionate. They're gonna know if there's anything that they want to pursue creativity wise. They're just gonna have to know to be serious about it, because I don't like the half in shit. I don't like people who don't finish stuff. I'm not a anybody who tries to say like it didn't happen because all these outside sources stopped me. Like that shit irks the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
It irks the fuck out of me. All right, then why didn't you pivot, tell them to go fuck themselves as you were passing by, and then keep going? You know what I mean?
I have a cousin. He when I was younger, it was like 2004, 2003. I had just lost my grandmother. And that's when I found out he was a rapper. Like he was, I don't know how old he was.
Cool.
I think he was like a teenager in high school or about to graduate or whatever. I was one of those kids that paid attention to a lot of things, but I really didn't pay attention to people. So
I agree with that.
It was a lot of fill in the
me
blanks
too.
as I got older. Like, oh, that's what you was doing. Okay, so he was a rapper and he actually made a song like about my grandmother. And because at that time I was 8. I was either 8 or 7, and everybody else got to spend a lot of time with my grandmother, but I didn't. So I didn't know the relationships that everybody had with her. I knew, of course, the intermediate people like my siblings and my mom and everybody else. But as far as like distant cousins or families that I'm just now meeting, and they say, yeah, like I was really close to your grandmother. So I'm like, I ain't never see you around, but okay. He was a rapper and it never worked for him. Like he had a lot of shit go on and got into a lot of trouble, but he was talented. That was the crazy part. He was talented. And at that time, I never saw myself as a rapper, so it didn't dawn on me. But it dawned on me as I really took it seriously. Like, I don't want to be him, but I want to continue what he didn't finish. You know what I'm saying? I want to, and unfortunately, I have to be the first. But I feel like I'm very close. Like, it's so weird. Like, I feel like I've been doing this for a minute, and sometimes I feel like giving up. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I feel like I'm close. Like,
you feel like if you just keep pushing, you feel like if you just keep talking. And
yeah,
keep going.
it's so weird. Like spiritually, I feel like I'm right there, and it's just so weird. And I don't know what it is I need to do to come over that little thing that's keeping me from being there, from right there to there. But I mean,
most people will never know what that feels like, man. You know that? Like that feeling like if I just keep going, I'm gonna make it. If I just make one more song, I'm gonna make it. If I write one more joke, I'm gonna make it. Most people will never know if I just keep going, it's gonna be okay. But most people are too afraid to just start.
But
and that's sad, man.
I think it's because for me, it's just I'm very spiritual. Like I believe in God wholeheartedly. And even when I was in the military, I was always a spiritual guy. Like me and my friends, like one of my bros, I'm close to him to this day. Like he's my brother. When you're in the Navy and you get, you have to do this swim test, and a lot of Black people do not swim. But my brother didn't tell. Right, I said that. My brother didn't tell me that.
We have clarification. Black people cannot swim. We have clarification.
I can now.
I'm calling my mom.
I can now.
Like,
but my brother didn't tell me that when he didn't tell me how like drastic the swim test is. He just told me that you're gonna have to swim test, but he didn't tell me how drastic it was. So when you go there, the pool itself is like 12 feet deep. But on top of that, the what do you call that thing that you stand on?
Diving board.
The diving board. It's not even a diving board. Like
it's just a platform.
It's a platform, and the thing is like 10 feet. So I guess they're trying to like give an example.
Black people like heights?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We do roller coasters.
I was just saying. I hate roller coasters. See, fuck roller coasters.
I mean, honestly, I can't speak for all Black people. I can only say.
But
that
it's like
if you're not.
So I only ask it that way. It's like when I meet a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I meet a nurse, because my mother worked in the ER for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And she's got stories upon stories. So every time I meet a nurse, I say, "What's the weirdest thing you ever pulled out of somebody's ass?" I always ask them every time. What's the weirdest thing you ever pulled? I've heard light bulb. I've heard gerbil. I've heard car keys. So like I said, I told you before we started, my mom runs a health and wellness company,
right.
And she employs a lot of the nurses that she, came up with.
Yeah.
So we're in a Suburban on our way to Manhattan, filled with nurses and myself, just a crazy ass comedian who, used to do a lot of drugs. And then it was dead quiet. And then one of these ladies whom I've literally known since birth, I go, "Hey, Vicky, what's the weirdest thing you ever pulled out of somebody's ass?" And she goes, "Themself." And I'm sorry, did you say themselves? He said, "Yeah." Guy put his own wiener in his ass, got hard, and apparently couldn't get himself out of himself. And that was the fucking that still tops it to this day. I'm really sorry to cut your story off with all that, but it's
No,
just
you're fine.
that's my ADD at its finest, by the way.
That's crazy work, bro.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't know if I have enough memory in my phone to write half the shit that I've heard down. And that's another thing. Like,
Nah, that's a lot.
I remember all the weird mundane shit about conversations.
But where's I going with this?
I'm so sorry. You were there's a 10-foot platform. I'd asked you.
there's
I'd asked you if black people like heights. You were very nice enough
So
to
I was
answer
not
in
scared
your
of heights.
response.
I was not scared of the heights.
Okay,
it was
cool.
just the fact of looking down and seeing that I'm about to jump from this 10-foot all the way down to, So I did that, and I failed that part.
Why?
Because that shit was hard.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you have to jump, you have to dive, and then you have to come up, and then you have to swim around. So it's like a whole obstacle, right? So I failed that, and I had to keep going back. So it wasn't until graduation time where I'm about to graduate from the boot camp, and if you don't pass the swim test, you get ASMO'd. ASMO'd means you get pulled back.
Right.
But you don't go to a different division. You just go to a certain area where you just swim all day. Mind you, they have a whole compartment there, and compartments are called buildings, pretty much. That, say for instance, a person that is getting kicked out, or they have a medical situation, or they about to go home, they send them to this compartment because when I tell you, it has games there, it's like luxury. So when I got asthma, they sent us there, and they was like, "This is where y'all gonna be, but y'all have to get up Actually, I take that back. They sent me to another one. They sent me to a different compartment with divisions actively there, but we was just in a certain area for swimmers. So when I was there, I met a couple of people that was asthma as well, and we just started talking. We just we talked about where we're from, of course, and all the other stuff. And I was like, I really want to get out of here because I got a lot of shit going on. So what we did was we prayed every night in the middle of the room. Mind you, you have all these other sailors that's walking around just looking at us crazy. We prayed every night. And I kid you not, every day when someone goes to the swim test, somebody comes back passed. I had a rosary. When I tell you, I was giving people advice. I was even giving spiritual advice. Like this one dude, he got kicked out because he lied about his medical condition, and it came up because we did PT. I don't know if they don't tell them when they join that we're going to do PT. So if you're lying about a health condition that's going to flare up when you're doing PT, it's like, bro. And then that's how some people die there. So a lot of times when people die at boot camp, it's because you lied about your medical condition, and because I lied about asthma. I said, no, I ain't got asthma. But the only reason I did that because I didn't need a inhaler. Once I got to a certain age, I could run. Even now, I do all that stuff. I still have asthma lungs.
Okay.
But I can do everything that everybody can do. I just don't have as much wind as everybody has.
Stamina.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So if, say for instance, I was singing right now and I was singing with Beyonce, I'm going to run out of breath before she runs out of breath because I just don't have it in me.
Maybe that's something you can train to improve now. Really?
It's
you can't exercise your lung capacity.
You can, but it's still not going to work. It's just a deficiency within your lungs. That's just well, not even your lungs. It's your
it's a tracheal thing, or
a tracheal thing. It's
esophagus.
all the way down to your I forgot the name of it. It starts with a C. It's called capillates or capules. The part where the oxygen actually enters, and it's all
capillaries?
the way down. There you go.
Oh.
Capillaries.
Ding ding ding. Learned something in school.
All the way down to your capillaries.
My mom would be proud.
It's a constriction thing, and it just doesn't allow all the air to go in all the way.
Okay. So
when I did an asthma test, when I was, my mom did that before I left for the military. He was like, nah, he still got asthma. Damn. I was like, but I can run. I can do anything. He's like, it don't matter. You still got asthma. But anyways, so yeah, every single time somebody came back, we prayed, and everybody came back successful.
Wow.
So I've kept in contact. I lost contact with a lot of them, but I kept in contact with one, and he's my bro to this day. And we've only seen each other twice in our 9-year brotherhood.
And is this the one that took you to the show?
No,
That's
this
a
is somebody
different
else. This is when I was in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
The one that took me to the show was when I was in Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I went to sub school after I passed the swim test.
Okay. Fair enough.
After I passed the swim test, they was like, "All right, here's your orders.
Fair enough.
You're going here." But yeah, man, I've just always had a very, very like deep spiritual connection. I had to get back with my spiritual connection with God because I felt like I've drifted as I got older and things have happened and I've become more of an adult. But
be careful where in that entry point you dive into that pool. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people seek out spiritual help and just they really like go for the people that are like glommed on with followers, like 1.something million. If you'd like, a friend of mine on TikTok and Instagram, his name's Django. He goes by Django Degree on Instagram and Django's Truth on TikTok. I've been following him for probably like 4 or 5 months now. And I just listen to his shit. He does a lot of self-help, self-improvement, and spiritual guidance stuff. I mean, I'm not saying follow him to a T, but he does. He's a good entry point. I feel like he was a good entry point for me to start on my journey a little bit.
When it comes to that, I don't really pay attention to other people.
Okay.
Well, I do have a therapist.
Okay.
Start there, but
I can't afford therapy, so that's why I like Django. Django's awesome. I ask him questions all the time. He answers me.
But for me, I've just always been. Well, I haven't always been. I've come into that when I was younger, as far as spirituality and connection with God and all those things. And for me, it remains strong on my own, but I just felt like I haven't been doing what I need to do, like praying and just really like leaning on Him, like I used to. But I still, am genuine to people. I still try to be good in the sense of my spirit. But it's just a lot of work.
Yeah, you're not giving off any shady energy, man. How like some people just emanate like douche energy.
Yeah,
not a shred coming off you, bro.
And it's crazy. People be thinking that this bougie guy that I'm like stuck up and all this. Well, people back where I'm from because of how much I've grown. But when people meet me, when they look at my face, they're like, "Yo, your face, it looks like unapproachable," but when they actually get to know you, I'm like, yeah, bro, like I'm cool. Like I don't believe in being mean to people. Only time I'm mean to someone, I wouldn't even call it mean. Only time that you get a reaction out of me that you don't think is a good one is if you do something. But other than that, I feel like it's important to be nice to people because you never know what people's going through. Like
I feel like it's important to be nice to people who deserve it.
Yeah,
it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I feel like people really at some point need somebody to just be mean as shit. Like if they deserve it, they should not go unchecked. I think they need somebody who has just as much fuck you attitude as them to put them in a place they, you know what I mean? Because there are people that you can tell are walking around on this earth and have never been punched in the face, and they speak to people in a manner that says, "I've never been hurt.
Yeah,
I've never broken an eye socket."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I feel like you get out of this world what you put into it.
That's true.
And if you're gonna put douche energy out, like you should get it back. You really should. And I feel like it's too easy to get ahead to be an asshole. Like all you have to do is have charisma, and all you have to do is just go for it. You don't have to be a piece of shit.
You don't.
And I feel like if people try and always get ahead, like how did I put it? So I had a sales manager, years ago, and he was just one of those grind, make everybody do everything. Everybody hated him. So it's like a pipe, and then you see all of this like stuff coming down the pipe, and it's swelling it up.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, so he moves up. Yeah, that was yours, dude. So if he moves up the chain of command because of all this extra stuff that's happening, all this extra good that's quote unquote happening, and nothing is ever able to match that energy because he's that big a piece of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as he moves up, everybody that's left behind is like, oh, see, he's gone now. Now the productivity is not as good.
Exactly.
So it's like a constant reverberation of that shitty energy. And that's something that I can't stand, is when people just do nothing but terrible things and then move
good.
on.
Yeah.
And then the results aren't the same. And then people are like, oh, that's why, because he's gone. But he was actually a piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah. It's a
I don't believe in that either, bro. Like I really, That's even like with kids, and like you have parents that like, oh, if I went through this, you gotta go through this. Hell no. My kids, when I have kids, it's gonna be a thing of, Dad, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, here's the resources. I don't need you to get out the mud. I don't need you to. You're gonna, of course, you have to learn. And, it's very important for people to learn. It's very important for people to go through things, but to purposely make it hard for others. Hell no, I'm not about to do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that with adults. I don't do that with kids. I don't do that with anyone. I just believe if I can help you, I'm going to help you. If you do something, if you come to me for advice, I'm going to give you the real. I'm never going to, that's like if somebody cheats on someone and then they leave you, you think I'm about to cry for you or feel bad for you? Hell no. However, I'm going to still respect your feelings, but I'm going to let you know that you have to accept what you've done and the consequences that come with that.
Yep.
But am I going to be asshole about it? No, because I feel like it's still important to be a human being to even people that make, I'm not even going to say mistakes, even people that make the wrong decisions, because sometimes your wrong decisions is deeper than what we think it is. And if I'm an asshole to you, how will I ever learn what it is for you to change?
That's fair.
So
that's fair. But if you ever need somebody to be an asshole to someone,
I can be an asshole.
Let's go. Let's go. If you ever need somebody to be an asshole and you want to be like, you know what, I'm going to take a higher path.
Okay.
You know what? I do got Dustin's number. Put me on FaceTime. Be like, hey, fuck face.
Yeah.
The fuck out of us. Fuck you, dude.
I can do that.
Yeah, you got
I can do that because I get called Mother Teresa all the time.
What time is your show?
It starts at 9.
At 9, and you're an hour away.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's 7:16.
Okay, you got time.
And you need to use the bathroom or anything, dude? You just took like a fucking 17-hour journey.
It was only 2 hours. I literally had just.
I'm lazy, so that's like 2 hours for you, 17 for me. I'm a piece of shit. I really, really appreciate you coming through. This has been actually one of the most fun conversations I've had on this show in a hot minute.
Well, I just want to thank you for reaching out. Thank you for
dude,
like inviting me, because I feel like it's very important, and just the fact that you took a liking to my music and actually checked me out, like I appreciate that. So thank you for inviting me.
Even if we don't make it, you know what I mean?
Right.
You got a fan.
Thank you.
Even if you don't make it and you still want to keep doing these shows, you're a gamer, right?
Right.
You got like video games. You can always warm yourself by this campfire at Dust Off the Mic Studios.
Yeah.
You can always come by, man. You can always, have a little loading point here if you need to.
Right.
We're here if you want to come by. I really do appreciate you coming by, man. Seriously.
No problem. Man.
Everybody, check out Naivetheemcee on Instagram, and I believe you're on Apple Music. You said as well.
Yes, I'm on
Apple Music.
Same thing.
Check them out. Like, subscribe. This has been Dust Off the Mic, everybody. Thank you so much for listening.
See y'all.
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the please. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace. You gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know